We are here with John Camuso at the Les Paul Recording Studio. Thanks,
hey, buddy.
Thanks for receiving me.
This is a very special place. There's a lot of stuff from Les Paul.
So it's the Les Paul Recording Studio at United. Basically our headquarters where we do all of our education, and it actually all works. It's all restored. You can come, you can rent the room, you can make a record here. So he starts with overdubbing, and that's just the ability to record and then record on top of it. We have his lathe here, which did the first overdub. When he recorded Lover, that was the first overdub he did, was on that lathe. This would be mid-40s. Yeah, so it's you know, this is definitely an old machine.
So Les Paul would take the lathe and cut a disc of his guitar performance. Then he takes the record and puts it on the record player. He plays it back, plays along with it, and records both parts onto a new record. He takes that record, plays it again, performs along with that he just recorded, and keeps repeating the process, layering performance after performance.
He famously says he did 500 layers to do Lover. So when you try to do the process, it's so hard, and you know, using one record cutting lathe is hard enough, but then to track and use two, it's just like, it's crazy. The lathe is mono, one input, one output. Okay. That's all there is. Okay. So basically you get your level where you think you want it, you cut, and then when you're done, you drop the tone arm and you check, because it's not like you can listen through the machine. You just, you know. Okay. That's your motor. Spins at 33 1/3 RPMs, which spins your top plate here. So we can cut lacquers here and vinyl. So a lacquer you would use if you're going to stamp it and mass produce it. The vinyl is more, they're much cheaper. Like I think a lacquer is like $50, these are like $3. So basically you feed in your mono signal, you can set your level here. This heats the stylus, so you want the stylus a little hot so it cuts into the vinyl.
Okay.
This sucks what's called swarf, which is basically the shavings, and it sucks them up into this jar, and that's where they stay in there. When you engage the thing, you hear the vacuum kick on. It's got a little relay there. You bring the needle out to where you want it to go, you drop the needle, or the cutter head, the stylus, you click the stylus, the power amp to the stylus on, and that's, your cutter head is now recording. It's fairly simple. This threaded rod, you engage this down, and that's what keeps the needle moving forward at the right speed. So now we've lifted the cutter head, turn it off, can pull it back, you'll hear the vacuum kicks off, we shut off our needle, and we can let it keep spinning. And if I drop this on here, we should hear Lover.
No. Oh.
This is a microscope, so you can look at your grooves.
Can I look?
Yeah, sure. You can, and it also adjusts, so it's like, you know, it's just like a regular microscope.
Oh, wow.
And then you determine, you know, the grooves, if you're cutting them too deep or too shallow. And again, that's sort of where the artistry comes in.
Even though the system looks very complex, the basic process is simple. The real artistry is in setting the correct levels. Most of the work happens in fine adjustment to EQ, weight, and how the cutting head interacts with the disc.
There's a lot of variables in doing it, so the real art is in that. It's in the very fine tuning stuff.
And what about these controls? What is this?
This was just some like source selecting stuff. Les actually cut all the wires to it, but we're actually going to restore it as well.
Oh, okay.
This has got like all the chemicals you need, and this is like, this weighs the needle, so you put this down and you drop the stylus on here and it tells you how many ounces of pressure. You know, if the thing is off by a couple ounces, it doesn't cut the groove right, nothing sounds right, or it won't suck up, you know, the shaving. Like it's very delicate. When you look at how tiny that little tiny diamond tip is, and you think about how it's just shaking enough to cut into the record and it plays back perfectly, it just doesn't seem like it should work, but it does.
And how do you connect this with the console and with everything? It has inputs,
It's in the patch
outputs.
bay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just +4, you know, so it just plug it in and it works. Shortly after, he then gets his first Ampex tape machine from Bing Crosby. We have is a replica. We have the original, it's in a museum. We basically only use that for educational purposes to show the process of how he figured out how to do it with one tape machine, which is just a mono Ampex tape machine. One in, one out. The quality of tape is so much better than the quality of the lathe. That's when his brain starts going, how can I do this same process of overdubbing with just the one tape machine, with one track? He comes up with this idea to add a fourth head, which is a playback head. On every tape machine you have an erase head, a record head, and a playback head. The erase and record always work in tandem together. It erases right before it re-records. And then you can rewind, and then your third head is your playback. Then you could playback, and it's, you know, very cut and dry. Playback and record.
So he added an extra head to the system. The first time through, it records like a normal machine, capturing one pass. Then he rewinds it and records again. This time, the audio passes over a playback head first, just before it gets erased. It picks up what was just recorded and sends that signal to a mixer. We're actually restoring his Wally Jones mixer. You'll be able to do sound on sound if you wanted to, you know, if you want to record and just to do the process. Like, there's no advantage to doing it other than the process. It's sort of like, you know, if you wanted to do it, we can. We use it mainly for education.
Yeah.
But it's here, you can use it.
The mixer becomes part of the process. A microphone or another instrument is connected to the mixer. He hits record and the disc starts playing. He hears the previous recording through the system and plays along with it. The signal goes into the mixer, and the output of the mixer is sent directly back to the record head. On this second pass, the disc plays back to the first recording, erases it, and records both performances together. So it's genius that you know you can think to do this. Way back when he did. That's how he does all of his hits, like How High the Moon, and he has a string of hits using this machine, doing it that way. The problem is it's destructive. Okay. So if you say he does the whole process that I just explained, but he plays something wrong, or he says, I don't like the way I played that, you have to start from the beginning and do it all over again. Because between here and here, you're erasing everything. That, I assume, got old at some point, where he was like, well, I liked the way I was doing it with the lathe, because if I mess up with the lathe, I could just put the old record back on and start from where I left off. He has his first couple big hits with this. I assume he starts making a little money, and then he goes, I'm going to buy a second tape machine. The bulk of his archive is recorded that way. Record to one, rewind it, play it back, feed it into the other machine along with some new stuff, and record to that, rewind that, same thing back and forth.
But Les was always pushing forward. He kept experimenting and improving the technology. That's when he moved beyond single pass recording.
This led to the development of true multitrack recording.
This is from
1957, 58-ish. He started designing it about 4 years earlier. So Les designed it, and Rain Norma did most of the wiring and building of it. And Rain was famous for designing the Fairchild compressor. Yeah. It was built at the same time he was doing the 660, so his brain was at peak performance. So the build of this console is incredible. I mean, it sounds incredible. It still sounds incredible. It's, you know, it's all tube. There's got to be over, 100 tubes in this thing. And he realized that you would need to have something more than a mixer, because you need to have input and a monitor section.
Okay.
And that's really what makes this different from everything before. Everything before, it's essentially like a mixer in the sense that it didn't have a monitor return section, and that's right here. So you have your 8 playback off the tape machine, the first 8-track multi-track tape machine, as well as a master for everything. When Ray Norman and Les are building this and putting it together, Ampex is working on the machine, and they're the whole time going back and forth and making sure that it's all going to work together.
This system made true multi-track recording possible.
You could record to one track, rewind and record to another. At the same time, you could listen back to the first track and adjust the mix.
Really multi-track like we do today.
Les Paul also built machine control directly into the console. This allowed him to work as the musician, producer, and engineer from one position. Features like this would not appear in other consoles until many years later.
So he can completely control the tape machine. There's no record button on the tape machine. It's only in the console. So the tape machine does not work without the console. They were built for each other. You have 4 passive channels here that dump down to one mic pre.
Okay.
So you can put 4 mics into one mic pre. You also have the echo return. Because at the time that they built the console, there were no plates. It was just chambers.
Okay.
So the echo sends to a chamber, but the return is really just another mic pre. It's the same mic pre's that are here. Because you would have a mic in the chamber that you would return. So you can use that as a mic pre. There's no EQ on that or no echo send, but
so the send is...
It's just a mic pre, yeah.
Yeah,
the
like,
return.
Wow.
Yeah, so you have 8 here and 4 on that side. So, and then we have a rack of 10 APIs and if you wanted to get nutty, but that's just if someone comes in and has some crazy setup and they need more mic pre's. So when you record to the tape machine, you get into the world of limitations because even though it's 8 tracks, you can only record 3 at a time. Because again, it's the first multi-track, they were figuring it out, and if you put more than 3 tracks into record, it melts the erase head. The record enables are in the console as well, which is you never see anywhere now. But again, Les was always there doing everything, so he put the record enables in the console. It only allows you to put 3 in at a time so that you can't mess up and accidentally melt the heads. So you can do 3, 3 and 3, 1, any combination, but never more than 3 in record at a time. Because it's the first one and they're newly going to 1-inch now, and there's a lot of things like the tension arms react because they hadn't really dialed it in. It was all sort of experimental. It is a bit of, it's really requires 2 people because you really kind of want eyes on everything. It's a lot to use.
Have you recorded with this console bands or?
Sure, and there are a number of ways you can use it. We have Pro Tools with all the newest everything, fancy converters and all the bells and whistles. So you can actually use the console direct to Pro Tools, which is the most hi-fi way to do stuff. Nobody ever really wants to do that. Everyone wants to record to the Octopus because they want to use it. So we did a local rock band, and they wanted to record to the tape machine. So my thought was, okay, let's do the drums in stereo, and then we'll do the bass as one pass, and then we'll go back and we'll do guitars or vocals. They didn't want to do that. They said, let's record the drums mono, record bass and guitar, and get the whole band. So the quality of all of this stuff is fantastic, but the limitations of it is what sort of feeds the creativity, because you have to kind of think about everything. You can't just go, let me do 10 of them and then we'll figure it out, or we'll send it to the guitar player and he can pick which one he likes. Or you can't do that here. I mean, you can if you're recording to Pro Tools, but the spirit of this place is really to think about what you're doing, wrap your head around committing to stuff, and you find that when you do that, it's actually more creative than just going, let me just put 1 million down and then we'll edit it together. If you go, I can't do that, you're forced to go, well, what would I really want to do? You think about things differently. So that's sort of the beauty of the room. You think about the music differently. You don't think about, let me get as much as I can while I'm here and then figure it out later. You go, what would be the best thing I can do? And I'm going to put all my energy into this one performance that's really good.
Yeah.
The console also allowed direct-to-disc recording. Multiple microphones could be connected at the same time. A balance was set live. Everything was recorded straight to vinyl in a single pass.
We also have his 3-track. And everyone always asks, why did he have a 3-track? And it was basically made because he was the only person with an 8-track. So the music couldn't leave his house without a way to translate it. So you needed to have a 3-track, so if he wanted to make something that he could bring to another studio or do something with, that was how he did it. We have an Ampex 400 in the back, which is a stereo machine that we just restored. So you have mono to tape, stereo, 3-track, 8-track, and Lathe, and Pro Tools. Yeah, so we've got you covered.
All this equipment was in Lathe's house.
Yeah, it was all, he had a home studio, which amongst everything else, him and Bill Putnam were both sort of best friends and friendly rivals, but things like echo chambers and tape delay and the whole process of overdubbing and all of this stuff.
Most people think of Les Paul only as the guitar, but his impact on recording technology is just as important.
The way modern DAWs are organized comes directly from this console. All follow the same basic layout. This was the beginning of modern studio culture.
Because you didn't really have recording studios then that were just built to make music records. There were rooms like this building, United, which is famous for, you know, millions of records. It was built about, I think this is 57 as well, around the same time as the console was built. But this was built to do string sections for film. You know, this was the Columbia lot. Putnam built it for that purpose, and, you know, Sinatra records and all that stuff. The home studio, how like we all see it now, where you have your wraparound console and you're, put glass up and you have booths and you treat the rooms. I mean, again, Les was the first one doing it, in his house. And on top of all of that, he was the first shredder. There weren't many guys that were just shredding guitar like Les. Like, just that alone, he's doing the half speed and the double speed. Yeah. The vari-speed's built into the console as well. He even built in the tremolo and vibrato, like he had in his amp. He built it into the console. And we have his guitars here, we have his microphones here. He did kooky things like he hardwired his guitar. Yeah. And I can show you here.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he hardwired his guitar cable to channel 1. So now it just works as a DI for a guitar. But he recorded all of his guitar through channel 1 and would just plug in, sit right here. So this one was basically, I think the last 20 years of his life was his #1 guitar. So, And what's great about it is it's clearly Les Paul's guitar when you see how much he messed with it. So you see he's got all of his settings marked. He's got 2 inputs, I'm not sure why. So now
beautiful.
It's here.
Who restored this? You?
No.
We restored the console.
We had a team. We put together a team in Brooklyn. A bunch of guys from a studio called Thump. Richard Levengood, a guy named Maurizio, Ben Fisher. So Ben did the console. Maurizio was more so the tape machines, and Richard was sort of like the project manager. So those guys did it. It took the 3 of them about 10 months to restore everything. We did it in Brooklyn, shipped it out here. Les set up the foundation before he passed. Basically, the mission of the foundation is to keep his music alive and, educate the next generation of kids that, he's not just a guitar, because people just think it's a guitar.
Yeah.
And he wanted people to know, like, he all this work that he did and how he, sort of changed how we all record. And about 5 years ago, they were archiving all of his music. He had over 30,000 recordings from when he was like 14 to right up to months, before he died.
Yeah.
So they were digitizing it all, and it was during COVID lockdown, and Les never threw anything away or recorded over anything. So he had, over 33,000 recordings. And as we dug through, we started finding all of that process I told you about, the tape to tape and the disc to disc. Well, it all started showing up. All of the, like we call them, the stem tree. of
Stream
like
3.
yeah, because
Okay.
he would I told you he'd record to one, rewind it, play along, and so none of them were all on the same reel. They were just haphazard. He would go, I need 2 minutes of tape. Oh, here's some on the end of this reel. So when you started the archiving process, it all started coming together. Like, oh, here's now, this song with bass, and now there's the vocal on it, and so we started to figure out he kept it all. And the original idea was, if you took the guitar and bass as the first one, say, and then the second one's guitar, bass, and a vocal, and then guitar, bass, and 2 vocals, and you took every other one and flipped it out of phase, the thought was, would it cancel out everything prior? And just like a karaoke process, you could phase out everything but the new recording, and we could make a new multi-track. When you listen to Les's mixes, a lot of times they get really crunchy and distorted, and even sometimes you don't even hear all the stuff, and because the process of what he was doing, whether it was the destructive thing or disc to disc or tape to tape, the degradation of just going back and forth 20 or 30 times, you keep losing quality, and you also lose the ability to go, oh, that might have been too loud, or so we get all the stuff, and we immediately knew that wasn't going to work because the tape machines drifted so much.
Okay.
You would lose 10 seconds from one to the next. But we were like, there's still something interesting here, let's pursue it. So about a year or two of work, we figured out a way to do it. We cracked the code, and basically we used this software that Cedar makes, that we could align everything and get them within one cycle. You still can't phase it because they weren't exact.
Okay.
So then we went and started exploring the AI stuff, and that worked fantastic, especially with Les, because we had everything broken out, so it wasn't a lot competing. Anytime something new came, we knew what we wanted to take out, and we were able to go through and using AI, remove all the old stuff and recreate masters. Then we were like, okay, let's remix it all, clean it up, and get like a super hi-fi, rendition of what Les did. And then some of the guys on the foundation were like, well, let's pull the console out of the museum and restore it, and we'll mix the music on the console. So sure. So that was a year-long process of doing that. Then we had the console done, and we were going to start mixing the music, so we had to bring it to a studio, and then so we started looking for a place to bring it to a studio, and then it was, well, what are we going to do afterwards? And so it all just started from this idea, and it became obvious that the best thing to do is to let people record on the stuff and make records and show people not only what Les did, but how good the gear is and how great it still sounds. And it will bring people in and start talking about Les and educate them on all of these things that he created. But we can host classes, and we have, thanks to you and all your great video stuff, you helped us outfit the room with cameras, and we've done the classes to Colombia, and we're going to start doing those classes all over the world. And we have kids that come in, and we host the classes here and let them play Les's guitars and record through the gear. So it's just been great, because not only are we, really moving forward with education and all that stuff, but we're making new music here on this gear and showing people that, the technology really it's moved to computers, but it's the same thing. It's just really modeling it in a computer.
This was the tour Tom shared with us at the Les Paul recording studio. It's incredible to see how much of today's recording technology comes from Les Paul, for beyond the guitar. And if you think this video could be useful to someone who wants to learn more about the Les Paul recording studio, the Les Paul Foundation, or the history of audio recording, feel free to share it. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. See you in the next video. Bye.